So let's get to a little bit of Heat talk here. So so yesterday, a couple cool things happened. You had Dwyane Wade. He did an Instagram live with Jason Jackson, and he had some points where he thought that Erik Spoelstra doesn't get the credit that he deserves because of the shadow of Pat Riley. He says, I don't know if he's ever going to get the credit he deserves, right? A lot of it is fortunate, and the unfortunate part that he's under Pat Riley. And Pat Riley's still in the organization. And he's making the correct moves to bring in the right players, and he gets a lot of credit for that. I think a lot of people think that Spo's job is easy. That actually makes it harder to have Pat Riley as the boss, and that's the one that's helping him put these things together. Now, let me ask you something, Leroy. Sure. Do you think – we know that Spo's his guy. He loves Erik Spoelstra. Loves him. All right, especially when he returned.
They basically came into the Heat together.
Came into the Heat together, became even closer after Dwyane returned, they said. Closer as friends.
Right.
Like they have a personal relationship like they didn't have before. Mm-hmm. Is Dwyane Wade taking a little shot at Pat Riley because Pat Riley let him walk?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
I do believe this, that, and I'll take this information more than what anybody may think. If you ask any other coaches or any of the basketball people in the NBA, they all do give Spoelstra his credit. They really do.
Spo gets more credit, I feel like, nationally than he does locally. You
right.
know?
And
There's
so
a lot
from that standpoint, and I think D Wade's comments are probably steered a little more local because of how people feel about Pat Riley than nationally.
And that's probably the prism that he gets stuff in is the local prism.
Right. But if you go to like random basketball analysts, right, and ask them about Spo, you get a totally different. Like when they talk about Spo on TNT or they talk about him on ESPN, he's regarded. He's given high marks. And they regard him very highly. It's only locally where everybody talks more about Pat Riley than Erik Spoelstra.
Well, yeah, and it kind of goes back to the conversation we were having a couple days ago about can Spo do anything to kind of dethrone? Because we had a little bit of debate. You debated with me whether or not Pat Riley is on the Mount Rushmore of South Florida figures. But if it's Shula, Marino, Wade. I think Riley. You think, debatable Jimmy Johnson, but like, could Spo put himself in a position to ever dethrone Riley from whatever position he's in, with his track record? I think it's hard because Pat Riley is kind of the architect of basketball being great down here. But
if Spo were to win another championship, you think Riley would get that credit?
I don't know. I mean, it depends. If Riley got Giannis, if it involves getting Giannis Antetokounmpo, probably.
Right. Here is the kicker behind that, though. Okay, the basketball that the Heat play now is Erik Spoelstra basketball. There is no way in hell Pat Riley would be playing this style of basketball because he loves a big man.
He does,
and so even with the big three, right? Pat Riley kept trying to pump bigs into that system.
Understood, and I know that he had great bigs with the Lakers, but he did go from he went from an era of Showtime Lakers to beat you over the head New York Knicks, and then beat you over the head Miami Heat.
But he had Kareem, dude,
and Magic.
No, but I'm just saying he had one of the greatest centers ever.
I understand.
Right? So, and then he had Patrick Ewing, and then when he came here, Zoe. And he brought Zoe back, and he always tried to have a big.
But Zoe is more block shots, punch you in the face. Kareem is most known for the skyhook and the all-time leading scorer.
Okay, guess what? 2 words to explain to you the difference between Erik Spoelstra and Pat Riley. Hassan Whiteside. You think Erik Spoelstra would have ever given him a max deal if he was deciding that?
What do you think Erik Spoelstra's reaction was the night that happened?
He's like, he probably looked over. Was he married? Was he married at that point?
I don't know.
He probably looked over at his wife, whether she was wife at the time, and go, "You see what we did? Really?
So what?
Where we're going now? Yes. Like, his wife says, hey, you guys signed Hassan Whiteside to a max contract. And he went,
So what?
So from that standpoint, when you can clearly see where the basketball has gone, it's easy for me to separate Erik Spoelstra from Pat Riley, just because their coaching styles and what they emphasize on a basketball court are so different. Even though they're all centered around defense, you think Pat Riley would ever went to a zone?
I don't know. I don't want to say Pat Riley wouldn't do things to adjust.
Pat Riley hated the zone.
I know.
I'm not saying he. But I'm saying is that Spoelstra seems to have a knack for tweaking things.
His basketball mind is fantastic, and he's like a chameleon. But like he doesn't have like when Spo tells you the story. He told Ernie Johnson last night the story of Riley giving him the job. And he told Ernie Johnson, he says, it would be as you imagined, a Godfather scene. He brought me in on a Saturday after we won 15 games. The lights were down. I sat on the other side of the desk. I could barely make out his face. He could see me. And he said, quote, I'm done. You're ready for it. You're going to be like in the bird's nest, and I'm going to push you off the branch, and you're going to have to figure out how to fly. You've had enough experience. You've worked with great people. This is happening. Take a couple of days to get your bleep together. Monday is the press conference. Now, Spo's got some gems as far as speaking is concerned. All right, forged in fire with the anvil and the hammer, whatever the hell he was talking about.
It's like our old quote, character isn't made in a bed of roses and sunshine. Like steel, it's forged in fire in between a hammer and an anvil. Right now, we're between the hammer and the anvil. This is the NBA.
My question is, do you ever think that Spo...
If I may, real quick.
Sure.
When I hear comments like that, he doesn't necessarily separate himself from Riley.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you ever picture a young Erik Spoelstra looking at Chris Quinn across in a dark office one day and be like, you're ready? Like, do you ever picture Spo as like the mythological figure, godfather, or does he not have like the old school basketball where he'll ever have that? He'll just be Spo, the great coach, and not have like Riley, the icon. Like it's weird. Like he has the weird privilege, but also burden of you came in under an icon. It's like old school,
and
like,
it never works. You think of all the coaches that followed icons. The only thing I can which is Fritz? No. What's the coach that followed in San Francisco? I can't think of his name. But
probably the point.
No, he won a championship with Steve Young. So, and that's the closest thing. I can't think of a guy.
Switzer?
No, that was Dallas.
No, just think of another example. I know it wasn't Switzer.
But nobody ever.
George Seifert.
George Seifert. There you go.
And he's been successful, and his coaching resume is great, but he's still got Riles there.
Right.
And so, like, it's not to take credit away from him as a coach, but Wade is right. It's hard to outgrow that shadow.
Right.
Pat Riley, good or bad.
See, people are Leroy is crazy if he thinks Riley couldn't adapt to today's game. I'm not saying that. But you have coaches that have like fundamentals of what they think a good basketball team should look like, right? And I still think Pat Riley thinks if you want to be dominant in the playoffs, you need a big, you need a rim protector. And I would say that Spo, he may believe that, but he's big on help defense and not necessarily having one guy.
Yeah, like
right.
I definitely think it's okay for those guys having two different philosophies. I think it's what makes the Heat organization great too.
But that's the only reason why I brought that up is that's what separates Spo from Riley. Is just those ideologies. That's it.
I gotta take a break, Leroy. I just saw my kid steal an entire loaf of bread from the kitchen. That can't be good.
Oh, he's making a run for it?
Yep.
He might be outside feeding animals. The raccoon.
Back after this.